मृदंग लगा लो. Jai Narasimha. You meant to repeat. Jai Narasimha. Shri Narasimha. Jai Jai Narasimha Deva. Prahladesha. Jaya Padma. Mukha Padma. Vringa. Ugram Viram. Mahavishnum. Jwalantam. Sarvatomukham. Narasimham. Bhishanam. Bhadram. Mrityur. Mrityum. Namami. Aham. Shri Vishnu. Shri Vishnu. Shri Vishnu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So we'd like to welcome all of you very warmly to Bhaktivedanta Manor. Bhaktivedanta Manor is very happy to facilitate and host this two-part series, Narasimha-kavacha, leading up to the festival of the appearance of Bhagavan Narasimha-dev. We all know Narasimha-dev? No? Clearly not. We all know Narasimha-dev? So how come we're here? If you know Narasimha-dev, there's no limit to how much we can know about Narasimha-dev. Narasimha-dev. Narasimha-dev is a personality that throughout India, in different parts, throughout the generations and throughout the yugas, there's different forms of Narasimha-dev. And in the past, when we've had series on Narasimha-dev, we've learned how Narasimha-dev is not only coming in the form that we know Narasimha-dev, through the pillar and ripping up Hiranyakashipu, and then what happens? What happens to Narasimha-dev? Does he go back? We all know that he goes somewhere to wash his hands, right? Whether it was Mayapur, Ahobalam. So he has his route and he's meeting different devotees, doing different things throughout the generations. So we welcome you to hear about Narasimha-dev. We welcome you to ask your questions. We welcome you here to go deep into the meditation so that Narasimha-dev will come through the pillar of the heart. Yeah, we all have a pillar in the heart. It's a closed pillar. And we've got all sorts of inscriptions. You know, when you go to tourist spots, at least in India, people write R, love heart, S, and draw an arrow. And they do all sorts of things on the pillars. Similarly, in our pillar of our heart also, I'm sure we have all sorts of inscriptions. Whether Narasimha-dev is there or not, we don't know. Hiranyakashipu's pillar in his palace or in his kind of meeting room was known as the Vijaya Stambha. That was the pillar in which there was many inscriptions. What were the inscriptions on that pillar? All Hare Krishna. Can we welcome very generously, enthusiastically, our very dear and our speaker for this katha, His Grace, Vraj Bihari Prabhu. Haribol! Haribol! We'll hear from him. If you want to know what was inscribed on the pillar of Hiranyakashipu, you come tomorrow, because I'll tell you tomorrow. Thank you so much once again. We ask you to please move forward. So devotees who come later on will have space.
हाँ थोड़ा सा 2 मिनट। हरे कृष्णा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने, नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले ते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना। अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणात् त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। Katanjana smrute asmin duskaram sukaram bhavet Vismrute viparitam syat Sri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you everyone for coming for this 2 days of Katha on Lord Narasimha-dev and Prahlada Maharaj. So we'll prepare our consciousness for the festival by glorifying Sri Prahlada and Lord Narasimha-dev. And something very interesting about Srimad Bhagavatam, I was recently sharing with someone, that if you read generally Vedic scriptures, this pastime of Narasimha-dev is mentioned many places. But in most of the places, Narasimha-dev is presented naturally as the hero of this pastime. But when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will realize Prahlada Maharaj is the hero. His instructions to his friends, his instructions to his father, his prayers to Lord Narasimha-dev, which are 3 parts to it. They are so beautiful, it comes out obvious to a reader. In those 10 chapters, you will read. So this is unique about Bhagavatam. Like Indra killing Vritrasur. You know, there's another pastime. Also in which canto? 6th canto. Narasimha-dev pastime is in 7th canto. So Indra killing Vritrasur is mentioned in many Puranas, many Vedic scriptures, including Rig Veda. But if you read it carefully, in all those scriptures, Indra is presented as hero who kills Vritrasur. But Bhagavatam is a great, it's a great scripture of plot twist. In Bhagavatam, Vritrasur is the hero. His final prayers to the Lord. So this is amazing about Bhagavatam, that you will discover something beyond the apparent layer, but apparent reality that you see. Like in Bhagavatam 1st canto, you will find prayers of Mother Kunti. Kunti is she is there in the Mahabharata, she is there in many places, but in Bhagavatam she comes out as a hero. Bhishma's instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira, this is like beautifully captured, his mood, his remembrance of Krishna. So like that, so we are fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us Srimad Bhagavatam, and let us meditate on this Narasimha-dev pastime. And today we are going to begin by chanting this verse. This is from the 5th canto, 18th chapter, verse number 8. This is one of the lands or varshas, which is known as Harivarsha. There is a lot of residents staying in that planet, in the Harivarsha planet. And Prahlada Maharaj is also there, and he is offering prayers to Lord Narasimha-dev. And this is a very beautiful prayer. So those who are in difficulty, if they chant this prayer, it is said that, I don't know about how the difficulty will be taken care of, but they will come closer to Krishna. It is guaranteed. Sometimes we pray to the Lord thinking, if I pray to the Lord, will my problem go away? They ask me. So I tell them, I don't know about that, but if you pray sincerely, I don't know if your problem will go away, but you will come closer to Krishna. And that will solve a much bigger problem. So this is a very beautiful prayer. So please let us, you can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Tejase. Avir Bhava. Vajranakha. Vajradamshra. Karmashaya. Randhya. Tamo Grasa. Om Swaha. Abhayam. Atmani. Bhuishtha. Om Shraum. Want to know the meaning? It's a very beautiful prayer. See, generally when we chant a prayer, through the sound, through the speech, we chant the prayer loudly. But an intelligent devotee, what he or she does, as we vibrate the mantra or the verses with the mouth, we create that sound. That means we offer the speech, but simultaneously we offer the thoughts. So in thoughts, we connect to the meaning of the verse. So that helps us offer our thoughts to Krishna, for then that becomes a prayer. Otherwise it becomes mechanical chanting. That is the difference between ritual and spiritual. Is this clear? So whenever you know a prayer and you are not connected to Krishna, then you can meditate on the meaning of that prayer. So Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya means, oh Lord Narasimhadev, I am your servant. Please accept my respectful obeisances. Namaste Tejase. So here he is offering obeisance to the power of all power. Tejas means power. Oh my dear Lord, you are most powerful. Avir Bhava. Please get manifest, please. Yeah, please be fully manifest in my heart. Vajranakha. You possess nails like thunderbolts. Vajradamshra. Your teeth are like thunderbolts. Karma Shayan. So my material activities, Randya. Finish them off. Kindly vanquish them. Tamo Grasa. Kindly drive away the ignorance. Om Swaha. Now these three words, Swaha, Om and Shraum, these are all claim, these are all respectful address. Like in England we say, your, what do you call it? Your majesty, or like we say, your grace, His holiness. These are all respectful address. So in the Vedic parlance, the Lord is addressed as with the prefix of Om, Klim, like that. So Swaha, and then Abhayam. You will grant me fearlessness. Atmani Bhuishtha, Om Shraum. Please appear in my heart, appear in my mind. So if the Lord appears in our mind, then we'll never be fearful of anything, in any situation. So instead of changing our circumstances, we are praying to the Lord to change our consciousness. Then we'll become fearless in this crazy material world. This is a beautiful prayer, isn't it? Can you chant this once more?
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya.
Namaste Tejase. Avir Bhava. Vajranakha. Vajradamshra. Karma Shayan. Randya. Tamo Grasa. Om Swaha. Abhayam. Atmani. Bhuishtha. Om Shraum. So last 1.5 months I've been traveling. No, 2 months I've been traveling in US, now here. So every 3 days I was in a new city. So when somebody was dropping me to the airport, so in the car I would chant Narasimha prayers, Tavakara Kamalvar. So the driver would know this. And then after that I would chant this mantra loudly. And after that the devotee would say, Prabhu, what is this mantra? I said, okay, repeat after me. So for next 20 minutes we would chant this and I would explain to him. So I would get a chance to share this mantra and also help others memorize this. So it's a very beautiful mantra. So in ISKCON generally we chant everything 3 times. Isn't it? Panchatattva mantra. So let us chant this once more. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Tejase. Avir Bhava. Vajranakha. Vajradamshra. Karma Shayan. Randya. Tamo Grasa. Om Swaha. Abhayam. Atmani. Bhuishtha. Om Shraum. Narasimhadev is very popular in ISKCON. In fact, with children is most popular. And also, when we have problems, when devotees have problems, you will see all devotees naturally approach whom? Lord Narasimhadev. And in this material world, anybody is there who doesn't have problems? Not only all of us have problems, we have problems all the time. So Narasimhadev is our go-to shelter. And I've seen that even children, when they are growing up, the first thing they learn in ISKCON is Narasimha-arti. Even devotees, when we are new, the 2 things that attract us when we are very new, one is Prasadam, of course, and the second is Narasimha-arti. We pick it up very fast. There is something very unique about Lord Narasimhadev, Narasimha-arti, which attracts all the devotees, the melody also especially. So as we get older in Krishna consciousness, this initial attraction to Lord Narasimhadev can be made more deeper. And we can make this deeper by hearing about the Lord. And we need to hear about the Lord more and more and more. The same pastime. And this pastime is about Lord Narasimha-dev killing Hiranyakashipu. And Narasimha-dev, now we have prayed to appear in the heart, in our mind. And he appears to kill whom? Hiranyakashipu. And where does Hiranyakashipu stay? Which planet? Which country? Is he in the neighboring country? Is he in, where? Where is he? He is in the heart. So, that's why we call out to Lord Narasimha-dev. And Lord Chaitanya read and heard Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially this pastime 100 times. And he would hear this pastime continuously. I don't know anyone. We hear the same pastime again and again. No, we get bored. We want something new. But look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's enthusiasm. He would hear this again and again and again. In fact, Srila Prabhupada was so attached to Lord Narasimha-dev's pastimes that this is for me the most astonishing thing about Srila Prabhupada. 1976, so many devotees have come to Mayapur. Mayapur is just building up. Just understand this. Mayapur is just established. Facilities were just being created little bit. And thousands of devotees from America and Europe are coming to Mayapur first time. They haven't been to India ever in their life. Now they become ISKCON devotees. They know that ISKCON headquarters is in Mayapur, and there's the place of Lord Chaitanya, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Patita Pavan, the avatar for Kali Yuga. They're all enthusiastic to come to Mayapur and take part in the Navadvip festival and association of Srila Prabhupada and hear about Lord Chaitanya. Naturally, and they come. In fact, I think there's one group of some hundreds of devotees, they come, the entire plane is booked for them. The entire plane, they do kirtan the whole time. So it's amazing. And then from Kolkata, so many buses of devotees, and they come to Mayapur. And Srila Prabhupada gives them association and does katha every day. And then the climax is the Gaur Purnima festival. And all these days, guess what Srila Prabhupada is speaking on? Not Chaitanya Bhagavat, not Chaitanya Mangal, not Chaitanya Charitamrita. He speaks the pastime of Prahlada Maharaj and Narasimha-dev. In fact, he speaks prayers of Prahlada Maharaj. This is how these prayers were so dear to Srila Prabhupada. So you can understand Bhagavat. This is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's most attractive and most purifying. So, and Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are going to read now from 7th Canto, is the place where the details of the Lord's appearance is described. Why the Lord appeared, how He appeared. And our relationship, now this is the beauty here. One is we come to know about the Lord as we read Bhagavatam, 7th Canto. Second, our dormant love for the Lord is revived as we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, is our most important scripture for devotees in ISKCON. That's why every morning we have a Bhagavatam class. Madeka bandhu, mad sangin, mad guru, mad mahadana, mad nistaraka, mad bhagya, mad ananda, namostute. Sanatana Goswami said, my best friend is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad sangin, my intimate associate is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad guru, Srimad Bhagavatam is my guru. Mad Mahadana, my greatest wealth is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad Nistaraka, my deliverer from all problems is Srimad Bhagavatam. My greatest fortune is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad Bhagya, Madananda, my greatest source of joy is Srimad Bhagavatam. So please know that our ability to understand and appreciate Krishna, Lord Narasimha-dev, Prahlada Maharaj will be through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even if you know the pastime, please hear them again faithfully, read them again. Just last year, Radheshyam Prabhu, the temple president of Pune, ISKCON, he asked a very, very pertinent question to my Guru Maharaj during the Bhagavatam class in temple. Amongst thousands of devotees, he said, Maharaj, we see a trend now that devotees who know something in ISKCON from scriptures, they feel bored reading the same thing again. They feel, okay, we already know this. So then they are more interested to learn how to apply this Bhagavatam in day-to-day life. So they are interested to read about current affairs, or they are interested to read about other things, or hear TED Talks, and then somehow connect them to Bhagavatam. And because we already know the pastimes of Prahlada, right? We all know. It's the same plot. It's not going to change every year. So what is the motivation to read and hear the same Bhagavatam? Because we already know it. And then Maharaj gave a beautiful one-line answer. He said, Prabhu, we read Srimad Bhagavatam not to know Krishna. It's not to know about the Lord. We read and hear Bhagavatam because we want to associate with Krishna. So when we are reading Bhagavatam, we are associating with the Lord. We are in the presence of the Lord because Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could hear Dhruva Maharaj pastime again and again and again. He heard 100 times Dhruva, then Prahlad 100 times. Because of this reason. And you know this pastime in Jagannath Puri, there is a place called Tota Gopinath temple. Lord Chaitanya would sit with Gadadhar Pandit and he would tell him, Gadadhar, tell me the story. So Gadadhar Pandit would tell Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Then Mahaprabhu would start crying. He would say, tell me again. Then he would speak again, Prahlad Maharaj pastime. Then Mahaprabhu would say, again, more. And then again Dhruva, again Prahlad, Dhruva. And Mahaprabhu would get ecstatic. He said, more, give me more. And then Mahaprabhu would embrace him and say, you are my best friend. You are, because he was feeling intense separation from Krishna, and that separation pain was mitigated when he would hear Bhagavatam. I know for many of us, we don't understand this because it's on a different platform. So to help us understand at our level, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj would give an example of how this principle operates in a perverted way in this material world. The same thing, to make us realize, he gave an example of the perverted reflection. He said there is a lover whose girlfriend ditched him. So he is like feeling extreme pain. And he is devastated. So he goes to his friend and he tells his friend, oh, I'm feeling so much pain. So the friend says, don't worry. Please take. So he gives him liquor. He gives him whiskey. So he takes one peg. And then he says, give me more. And he gives him more. And he keeps drinking. And then he says, give me more. So and his friend keeps feeding him and listening to him as this fellow is crying, lamenting, wailing and drinking. And then this friend embraces the one who is giving him the drinks and says, you are my best friend. You are so kind to me. You are giving me what I need. So then Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says, similarly Mahaprabhu is feeling intense lamentation, spiritual lamentation, in a purified way. And Gadadhar Pandit is feeding him the greatest intoxicant, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. And Mahaprabhu is hearing it and he wants more. And then he embraces Gadadhar Pandit and says, yes, Gadadhar, you are giving me relief. So therefore devotees never get tired hearing the same Bhagavatam. And you know what? The best part in ISKCON, the first day what you hear, this is what you are going to hear when you are dying also. There is no, in ISKCON there's nothing like you get promoted and you get more and more and we get to learn something exotic. No, it's the same thing. I remember our Keshav Maharaj, very dear friend, he came to Chowpatty, so I was introducing him. And then the Sunday Bhagavatam class, the temple was packed. He's very popular in our temple. So after the announcement, he was giving class and I was sitting in the front. I was thinking, wow, he's so powerful, so empowered. And I was remembering him as Bhakta Sandeep and then Sutapa Das, and I was feeling so happy. And everybody's laughing. And then I see next to me is His Holiness Sri Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He's sitting in the whole class with the same enthusiasm of a teenager or a new Bhakta. And he's also hearing the same way. And I was so tempted. I was just looking at him so many times. He was fully participating, absorbed in the entire 2 hours. And then I looked at him and I said, okay, Maharaj had taken sannyas before he was born. Right? Technically, externally, he's a young boy compared to Maharaj. He's 77, 76. Then I said, okay, in the outside world, you do something on the first day of your job. My cousin got into IIM Ahmedabad, which is the top MBA institute in India. So then she was the youngest in her class. And then after she passed out, she got a job in Coca-Cola company. And her first job, first few days, she had to go in the truck with the workers who were dropping off the boxes of the cold drink in different places. So I teased her. I told her, oh, what is this job? This is what the laborers are doing. And she smiled. She said, oh, this is I'm doing for the first few weeks. I'm learning about the whole organization. And I don't have to do this all the time. And now she's heading a pharmaceutical company. She's a boss in one very big pharmaceutical company. So in the last 20 years, she has progressed so much. Now she doesn't do what she was doing in the initial days of her career. But in ISKCON, what we did on the first day, with enthusiasm we heard Prahlad Maharaj, that's what we will do when we are dying. So this is beautiful. And Narasimha-Dev having given this introduction, let us now dive into the pastime. This is 10 chapters in the 7th canto, around 650 pages. 10 chapters in the 7th canto, so you can read. We may not be able to complete all the chapters in these 2 days, but whatever important verses are there, I'm going to present it and we'll have it on the screen. So, now the best part about Bhagavatam revealing to us about Narasimha-Dev is that it is not simply nectar, it is also the medicine. It will purify the heart as well as give us happiness. So we'll begin with the first chapter. And before that, once again, please, Srila Prabhupada said devotees should always pray to Lord Narasimha-Dev every day. You know this famous pastime? Los Angeles temple, the devotees are preparing to go to Rath Yatra in San Francisco. Many devotees have left, some devotees are still in the temple, including Srila Prabhupada. And suddenly somebody throws a pipe bomb inside the temple hall. And it explodes, and some devotees are injured. And Srila Prabhupada had given class that morning. And then he told the devotees, please chant Tava Kara Kamalavari. And that's when he taught to the devotees in West Coast, the Narasimha mantra. And he said, ISKCON is growing, there will be demons attacking, and we have to take shelter of Narasimha-Dev. And earlier in New York, when he had heart palpitations, devotees were worried. He asked the devotees to pray to Lord Narasimha-Dev. And what did he tell the devotees to pray for? My dear Lord, our spiritual master has not finished his work. If you so desire, please revive his health. Like that. For Lord Narasimha-Dev is our friend and shelter. Okay, so how does the pastime begin? Very interesting. Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukdev Goswami, why is the Lord partial? He's very partial. Actually, Parikshit Maharaj is echoing our feelings. So Parikshit Maharaj says, the Lord is always favoring the demigods. Why is it so? Shukdev Goswami says, no, the Lord is never partial. We imagine him to be partial because we are influenced by the 3 modes of material nature. He is never partial. Okay, he is not partial. Then Parikshit Maharaj has another question. He says, but why is he so kind that he gives? First he asked him what? Why is he partial, favoring the demigods? Now his second question is interesting. He says, why is it that his enemies, like Shishupal, even they get so much mercy and they get salvation? How can Lord give salvation even to the enemies? This doesn't make sense. They are enemies. So again Shukdev Goswami says, see why the Lord gives love and salvation even to enemies, especially Shishupal and Dantavakra, is because the same question is asked by Yudhishthir Maharaj to Narada Muni. And this is the power of remembering Krishna, that even enemies get liberation. This is what Narada Muni told Yudhishthir Maharaj. This is not to encourage us to become enemies, but to tell us how the Lord benefits even the enemies. And there are a lot of layers of conversation in Bhagavatam. Now you will hear it soon. One Kulinga bird, one boy, Yamaraj in the guise of a boy, instructing the queens. Hiranyakashipu is going to narrate this story to his sister-in-law and mother. The conversation between the Kulinga, there is a Kulinga bird teaching to the other birds, which is being narrated by Yamaraj, who is in the guise of a young boy, to the queens of the king. And this pastime is being narrated by Hiranyakashipu to his sister-in-law and mother. You see the 3 layers? And this pastime of Hiranyakashipu is being narrated by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And that is being narrated by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, which in turn is being narrated by Suta Goswami to the sages at Naimisharanya. So this entire conversation in the Bhagavatam is Suta Goswami telling the sages of Naimisharanya about Shukdev Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. And then he spoke to him about a conversation between Hiranyakashipu, Narad Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And in that conversation, there is a conversation of Hiranyakashipu talking to his mother and sister-in-law. And there we have the the king, the Emerald, coming as a young boy talking to the queens, whose king has been killed in the war. And within that, there is a story of a bird instructing his friend, his mate, like that. So like that, the conversations flow. So you have to be in the middle of it. So now he's telling him, Shukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj that even if you hate the Lord, you get benefit. It's like, it's called Vyajastuti, that if somebody tells you, come and join this organization, just join this academic institution, even if you fail in our exams, even if you don't do well, you'll get a job with an 8-figure salary, and you'll get holidays, and you'll travel all over the world, you'll get so many perks. An intelligent student will think, oh, if I join this institution and fail, I'm going to get so much. But what if I succeed? What if I do well? I'll get much more. The idea is the Lord is absolute, that even if we approach Him with envy, there is some benefit. So Srila Prabhupada was once challenged by a person saying that, oh, this is your God? You have this flute, he dances. This is your God? Prabhupada said, He's your God also. He's absolute. He's wonderful. And Narad Muni tells Yudhishthira Maharaj that Shishupal and Dantavakra were Jai Vijay. Hiranyakashipu, they came as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha also, as Ravana and Kumbhakarna also. Like that. He gives the whole history. And then he says, they were Jai Vijay, and they came as Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu tortured his son. So as the conversation is going on, Yudhishthira Maharaj is perplexed. He interrupts. He says, sorry, wait, Hare Krishna, I have a question. How can a father, I thought you said Hiranyakashipu is the father, and Prahlada is his son. How can a father torture and try to kill his own son? And then Narad Muni tells the story of how when Hiranyaksha, his older brother, was killed, and Hiranyakashipu became very angry and he wanted to take revenge. Before taking revenge against Lord Vishnu, he began counseling his sister-in-law and mother. For the Kulinga bird story, so he says how this is amazing instruction by Hiranyakashipu. This is amazing. You should read this. 7th Canto, 1st chapter. He says, don't lament, my dear. Hiranyakashipu is telling his mother and sister, don't lament at the death, because we are not the body, we are the soul. He is giving the Bhagavad Gita knowledge. And then he says how this Kulinga bird was crying, and then because her partner was killed, and because, his partner was killed and he was crying, and because he was crying, he forgot that time is very powerful, and a hunter came and killed him also. So we should not lament over what is temporary. We should focus on the eternal soul. And after this, after instructing this, Hiranyakashipu performs tapasya to kill Vishnu. He plans to become immortal. So you see there's a fundamental flaw in his character. He's saying one thing, but he's doing completely different. That's why we don't quote Hiranyakashipu in our classes. Right? Like we say, Narad Muni tells Dhruv Maharaj, we quote a verse. Or we say, as Ambarish Maharaj says in the 9th Canto, 4th chapter, verse number 19. We quote different verses saying, this is what Narad Muni says, this is what Prahlada says. But have you ever heard any speaker in ISKCON say, we are not the body, we are the soul, as Hiranyakashipu says in the 7th Canto, and we don't quote a verse. Although he may have said the truth, because there is no congruency between what he says and what he does. So we have to be exemplary. There has to be integrity. We can't just... See, Krishna conscious knowledge is not the same as our knowledge of academic books. This is not to be memorized like our academic books and quote. For being an academic scholar, you don't need any qualification. You need material qualification. You don't need integrity or character. A greatest scholar on Rupa Goswami, Satsvarup Maharaj says in one place, that he met one great scholar on Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami's works. So devotees went to meet him thinking that he must be a devotee. But he was from Harvard or some big university. And when devotees went there, they were shocked. He offered them liquor, and then he was like, yeah, I know, if I do this, if I'm drinking now, I'll go to this hell. He knew the names of all the hells also in the Bhagavatam. So he knows, but he's not acting on it. So as devotees, we can't simply quote scriptures and not live by it. This is a very important lesson right at the beginning of the first chapter of Narasimha-Dev pastime. In fact, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur would be very upset with devotees when they would get donations by lying or cheating to get money. Like once one devotee told Bhaktivedanta Thakur that, Prabhupada, this person is very wealthy and he was not giving money, and I flattered him, and then he gave so much donation. He was very innocently happy. Bhaktivedanta Thakur got so upset, he fasted for the next 3 days. He said, this is extremely painful. It was extremely painful for him that his disciple had done this. So Hiranyakashipu, by his behavior, is exposing the duplicity, that we have so many material desires in our heart, so we should work on clearing our heart and not pretending to be more advanced. But Srimad Bhagavatam is so merciful that it not only cleans our hearts. You see, the Bhagavatam does two things. It shows a mirror. If we keep hearing this pastime, we'll get to know how fallen we are. But at the same time, it's not only a mirror, Bhagavatam is also a medicine. It will clean the heart also. It's like an X-ray machine also, which reveals what disease we have. Any machine which reveals you your disease and also cures you of the disease. This is like that X-ray machine which tells you what is your disease and it also cures you. It doesn't flatter you. Bhagavatam is like a mirror which exposes us, but it is also like a shadow, in the sense it accompanies, like a best friend is like a shadow, is always there with us. So Bhagavatam will always be there even when Bhagavatam exposes us to our weaknesses and our anarthas. A real friend will encourage us and also expose us. He'll correct us. He'll have the courage to tell us where we are wrong, and he'll also be considerate. Shukdev Goswami chastises hearers left, right and center in the Bhagavatam. But he also encourages. In the 10th canto, he glorifies Parikshit Maharaj. So, the idea is, we are told through this pastime, don't cultivate Hiranyakashipu tendency, rather cultivate the Prahlada tendency. So what does Hiranyakashipu do? After instructing his mother and sister-in-law, he goes to, anybody knows where he goes? Mandara mountain, Mandarachal. He goes there and performs austerities for becoming immortal. And as he is performing austerities, intense tapasya, controls the elements of nature, and fire starts coming out. It burns the whole universe. He controls all the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the humans, animals, everybody is choked, and they all run to Brahma. And Brahma comes and appears, and he tells Hiranyakashipu, don't worry. He comes to Hiranyakashipu, says, ask for a benediction. Hiranyakashipu was very intelligent. He says, give me a boon. Benediction that I may never be killed by any living entity. Because Brahma is the one who creates them. Any living entity created by you. I don't want to be killed inside the house or outside the house. I don't want to be killed in the sky or earth. I don't want to be killed by a human or an animal. I don't want any weapon to kill me, living or dead. So he tries all permutations and combinations by which one won't die. And he asks for 8 mystic perfections. And what does Brahmaji say? Tathastu, so be it. Because Brahmaji knows, you try anything you want, but you can't overcome death. And for us, the way Lord came for Hiranyakashipu, in such an amazing form, he doesn't have to do anything like that to kill us. He'll send some small disease, some worm. There was one very famous professor at MIT some years ago. This article I read in the Back to Godhead magazine years ago. His name is Dr. Gerald Sussman. So he gave a presentation to his students, and he got a thunderous applause for that. You know what is this presentation about? He began like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you. We are the last generation to die. How do you like this? Somebody makes this announcement. See, we were there in that conference. Everybody was applauding. Oh, yes. Because he was explaining how science is making so much advancement. If a devotee was there in that audience, he would have simply mischievously smiled. He would have said, oh, same statement was made thousands of years ago by Mr. Hiranyakashipu. Srila Prabhupada, in one lecture in that 1976 series, is glorifying Prahlada's prayers. He says we should be thankful to Prahlada because of him. He said, because of Hiranyakashipu, Lord Narasimha appeared. And Prabhupada calls Hiranyakashipu as Shriman Hiranyakashipu. I found it very amusing. Anyway, that's another topic. So, Mr. Death will get us all. You can't say, I'm a very wealthy man. No, a rich man cannot bribe Mr. Death. He may have bribed so many people with this money, but when Mr. Death comes, we can't bribe him. Somebody is very beautiful. A beautiful woman can't tell, okay, I'll seduce Mr. Death. I'll trap him. He can't get me. He can get everyone, but not me. No. You can't charm or seduce Mr. Death. And you may be the strongest man on planet. You can't wrestle with Mr. Death and bring him to submission. No, sir. You may be the most intelligent man. You can't say, I'll debate with death and defeat him. No. You may be the greatest runner, 100-meter gold medalist in Olympics. You can't say, I'll run so fast that I'll outpace death. No. So, wealthy man, beautiful, intelligent, strong, nobody can defeat death. And Hiranyakashipu is a victim of his own ego and desire to be the Lord. And whoever we are, we may be, the wealthiest person will be cured, may be cured by the best doctors in the world's best hospital being administered the most expensive medicines. Still, Mr. Death will get him or her. But Hiranyakashipu gets all these benedictions, and based on these benedictions, he starts terrorizing the universe. He first drives out all the demigods, and except Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, all the demigods become his personal servants. And he gets things he wants, even in the off-season. Anything he wants, he gets at any time. And the earth yielded whatever he desired. Now, one would imagine he should be happy. He has everything. Anything you desire, you get. His condition, Narad Muni tells Yudhishthira Maharaj, is an amazing verse. Please repeat after me. This is a verse. Oh, we have reached 4 chapters. See how fast. There are 10 chapters. Saitam nirjita kakuba ekrad vishayan priyan yatopajosham bunjano natripyat ajitendriya. So, ekrad vishayan priyan. He was the one supreme most enjoyer in this planet. He had everything he wants. And how much he could enjoy? Look at this. Yatopa josham bunjano. He could enjoy as much as he wanted. So one would think he should be happy, but look at the last line. What does the last line say? Natripyat ajitendriya. He was not happy because his senses were not in his control. So we think I'll be happy if I can enjoy my senses. But if we don't control our senses, we can't be happy. This is the irony of modern civilization. On the one hand, we talk about enjoyment, pleasure, and we're also talking about peace. We also want peace in the society, but we also want people to enjoy unlimitedly. You can't get both. Because sense gratification leads to misery. And Srila Prabhupada writes a beautiful statement in the purport that materialists may go on increasing their enjoyment as far as they can imagine, but because they are servants of their senses, they cannot be satisfied. Hiranyakashipu was a vivid example of this dissatisfied state of humanity. The second lesson. The first lesson we learned was integrity. Hiranyakashipu speaking big philosophy but not acting on it. Second, we learn here, sense gratification will not give us happiness. There's another purport where Srila Prabhupada says, who is a demon? Generally, what do you think? Who is a demon? Somebody who has horns coming out, somebody who is big, ferocious. Prabhupada says, demon is he who works very hard without benefit to even himself. So then many of us may come in that category also. Somebody is working very hard but not benefiting anyone, including himself. So Devamrit Maharaj was once giving an example that when he was a young boy in America studying, his school teachers would tell him, when you grow up, you should just become leisure time engineers. Because people will have nothing to do, they will be so relaxed. So you will have you have to use your creativity because people will be relaxed because there will be so much advancement in science and technology that nobody will be working hard, nobody will be working, they will all be relaxed and happy. So you need to create something for them. So then Maharaj says, now when I'm old, I realize that nobody is relaxed, everybody is running. Everybody is working hard. Because the taskmaster is Maya. She doesn't allow us to be happy because our senses are not controlled. I want more, more and more. Ye dil mange more. And that's why the Bhagavad Gita says, Ya shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamakarata nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gati. One doesn't understand the laws, the principles given in the scriptures and rejects them. The scriptures clearly say, service Krishna. Ya Shastra Vidim, one who rejects the scriptures and just focuses on kama karata, enjoying. Nasa siddhim, you won't get success. Na sukham, no happiness and no higher destination. Simple. It's a principle. It's like a law of gravity. You throw something up, it comes down. We focus on my enjoyment, we won't be happy. Today, look at today, we have controlled material nature. In summer we have AC, winter we have, in Western countries we have the rooms are always heated. We have in India we have one very wealthy man who's created an intelligent building. It's called an intelligent building. I don't know why. I've never been there. It's called like we have smartphones. It's called a smart building because there's a lot of self-control in that building. A lot of things that happen. A lot of luxuries. Today we have iPods. So we have so many good things, but no necessities. If you see in many places, there is so many food and water is so contaminated. There's a lot of. We have 5G, but we don't have fresh air to breathe. So Hiranyakashipu is thinking sense pleasure will give me happiness. So he started persecuting Brahmanas, Devatas, humans. He's still not happy. There is this very true. There is a folk tale in Bangladesh. There is one domestic help. He was very poor, but he was working for a wealthy man. And this wealthy man had a beautiful cozy bed, very soft. And while cleaning the house, he would sometimes touch the bed, and he would feel, oh, it has sponge. It's so nice. How it would be so nice to sleep on this. But he would never dare because his master would catch him anytime. And this fellow was so poor, he would live in a small hut, and he would sleep on the floor. He had no money. But one day the master told him, I'm going out for something important. I'll be back in a few minutes. So just see the house, just take care of the house. So the master left. And the servant said, this is my chance. And he lay on the bed. Wow, it's so nice. It was so comfortable. And because same thing happened with me today, I was so tired. I said, I'll get up at 6:30 and rush for the class. I'll be here at 7:15. But at 7:30, somebody woke me up. I was knocked out. So this fellow was knocked out. And his master came. And he was aghast. How can you sleep on my bed, you uncouth, you rascal? He picked up his belt and he started hitting him. And this servant was shocked because poor fellow, he just enjoyed sleeping on a bed. And he started screaming in pain. Oh, alas. And the master kept beating him. And suddenly at some point of time something happened. And the servant started laughing. Uncontrollable laughter. And the master stopped. He said, wait, I'll beat you more. But first you tell me, why the hell are you laughing? I'm beating you. You shouldn't be laughing. Why are you laughing? He said, no, my dear master, I can't imagine. Wow, how fortunate I am. I just slept for 15 minutes on this bed and I'm getting so much misery. You sleep on this bed every night. How much more miserable you must be. So that's life. We think luxuries will remove misery. We are in big illusion. As long as sense gratification is the goal, we'll be miserable. In Mumbai there is this famous Taj Mahal hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. And I saw one advertisement in the newspaper about the 1905 or 1910, the Times of India newspaper carried an advertisement for Taj Mahal hotel. Come and stay in Taj Mahal hotel. How they attracted, how do you advertise a product? You offer something exciting, right? And how Taj Mahal was attracting customers to come and stay in their hotel? There was a beautiful lady, there's a drawing of a lady, she's smiling, and that was only 5% of that image. And the 95% was a big fan, which had 3 blades. And the advertisement was, come and enjoy pleasant air in Taj Mahal hotel. So the fan moving was considered as a big luxury. I'm like, wow, this is like everybody has a fan at home. AC, now AC is so common in India. So what was luxury has become a necessity. Anyway, so these are the two lessons we learned so far. The demigods are devastated, they are very terrorized by this Hiranyakashipu, for they go to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu says, don't worry, very soon he'll persecute his son Prahlada, who is a great devotee, and despite all the benedictions this demon has, I will kill him. And Srila Prabhupada writes there, offenses to a devotee is dangerous. So Hiranyakashipu got destroyed. He attracted the wrath of Lord Narasimha because he persecuted his son. Prahlada was a pure devotee. So Prabhupada writes there, one should never offend a Vaishnava. And we have many examples in history of pure devotees being attacked and consequently getting destroyed. You know the famous pastime of Mr. N? The one who can't be named. We can name him. I don't know, in the Lilamrit they keep saying Mr. N, Mr. N. Who is he? You know who? The you know who of Prabhupada pastimes. Mr. Nair. He was a very big demon. And it's a long pastime, we will not discuss this today. But he was plotting, he was taking away the land, he cheated Srila Prabhupada. He was a very influential person in Bombay. And he abused Srila Prabhupada. And the last meeting they had, in front of everyone, he used swear words. He said very dirty, and Prabhupada was just grave and sober. He went back to his room, and that night, Mr. N got a massive, Mr. Nair, why should I be scared of saying? Mr. Nair got a big heart attack. And in a few days he died. He was admitted in the hospital. But so he abused Srila Prabhupada and immediately he got a reaction. But he was not alone, he had many other demons who were his friends. Like there was one Mr. Matre, who was a trustee of the many schools in Bombay, in that Vile Parle area. And he was such a nasty fellow. What he did, to defame ISKCON, because they wanted to take away the land they had given to ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada, they started making pamphlets ascribing scandalous behavior to ISKCON devotees, and they started distributing those pamphlets in the nearby railway station of Bombay, near the temple, Santa Cruz, Vile Parle. So, and how Krishna took care of that demon is amazing. One day, suddenly in the newspapers, everywhere in India, Mumbai, the headlines was Mr. Matre caught in an illicit scandal, exposed. And because he was trying to ascribe scandalous behavior to Srila Prabhupada, he was defamed in such a big way, and that in Mumbai there were protest marches in the streets of Mumbai with his big photo being garlanded with chappals. And he, for the rest of his life, he was infamous. He couldn't, all his glory was lost. There was another man, all the Giriraj Maharaj shares all of these pastimes of the demons who attacked the Jew land. There was one Mr. Tembe, he was a MLA. MLA is like your member of the parliament types. He was very influential. You know what he did? He influenced all the life members. And he told them, ISKCON is dangerous. And then they all plotted. He headed this, that we'll take over ISKCON. We'll remove the devotees and we will manage it. So he was influential, he was a politician. And he was a very close friend of Nair. So then he managed to convince all the wealthy people and everything. And there was one meeting in the morning, one Sunday morning, there was a final meeting they would have, where they all would pass a resolution or whatever, and then he's going to take over the temple. So as usual, as every Saturday night, he was sleeping and he woke up on Sunday morning to go for the meeting. As soon as he woke up, he realized he's not able to get up. And then what's happening? And then he saw his lower part of the body, from waist downwards, is paralyzed. He just couldn't get up from the bed. And for the rest of his life, he remained like that. And the third demon was the most powerful amongst them, was Mr. Rani. Mr. Rani was a tantric, not tantric, it's like he had some voodoo magic kind of things. He had a doll he would prick that doll with some needles, and then that person whom he's attacking would get diseases and something like that. And he was very vicious. When, during this pastime of Juhu, those who have read the Lilamrita, you will see there was a section where the temple was being demolished. And despite the devotees having the proper papers, the police rejected them because Mrs. Nair, she had influence in the municipality, and she convinced the officials to break this so-called illegal temple. And despite having the papers, the devotees were thrown out and the devotees were beaten. And there are two Matajis who are protecting the deities because the breaking of the temple, they were coming up to the altar. They came up to the altar. So there was this Gandiva Mataji and her mother Maithili Mataji, they were trying to protect the deities. So this Mataji was she was a younger girl. The daughter was dragged by the hair and by the police, and she was dragged and she was thrown out of the temple. So of course, the last minute, because the devotee is called Bal Thackeray, was a very big politician, and he was having this famous political party Shiv Sena. I think that is the inspiration for Pandav Sena. That is the name. Somebody told me the name Pandav Sena came from that Shiv Sena or something. Is that true? Yeah. Gopal Krishna Maharaj said, okay, there is something called a Shiv Sena in India, so you can have Pandav Sena or something like that. I heard some past time. So anyway, so Shiv Sena. So he called the chief minister and he said, you stop this demolition drive. And he was a very big politician, so immediately it was stopped. And then, but then what happened when the police were dragging this Mataji? So Maithili Mataji, she looked at Rane was laughing. He was smirking. He was actually very happy to see the plight of the devotees, because the temple is about to be demolished. So this Mataji looked at him and said, you are laughing at the plight of devotees, the deities are being harmed. The fire of your offense will burn you. She kind of pronounced a curse, not intentionally, but her pain came out as, the fire of your offense will burn you. And later on, when the things were settled and things were cool, devotees were having Manglarati in the temple, and suddenly they heard somebody screaming. And they come out of the temple and they see Mr. Rane. He is in flames outside the temple. And he was burned, charred to death in front of the devotees, in front of the temple. What had happened in his room, he had this doll of Prabhupada made, and he was pricking it with some needles. It's some tantric ritual where you do that and the person you are attacking gets destroyed. But he didn't know that he was picking up cudgels with the pure devotee of Krishna, who is protected, like Prahlada was protected by Narasimha-Dev, Prabhupada was protected by Krishna personally. So what happens when you do that? It boomerangs. So that attack came back to Mr. Rane, and without realizing what he was doing, in a moment of sheer madness, he went to the kitchen, picked up kerosene, he put it on himself and lit a fire. And when he did that, he realized what he was doing, and then he came running up, but it was too late. And then he got burned to death. This is amazing. So this is the way Hiranyakashipu's offenses destroyed him. Narad Muni says Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons. And who was the best? Prahlada. He was cultured, he had excellent character, he had sense control, he was a menial servant, he respected everyone, and he never spoke from pride or envy. And he had control of his senses, exact opposite of Hiranyakashipu. And in all provocative situations, Prahlada never got angry. And Narad Muni is glorifying Prahlada as if he has 100 mouths. Beautiful verses. This is another amazing section. Who is Narad Muni in relationship to Prahlada? He is a guru. The guru is glorifying his disciple with great joy. This is another beautiful section. This is a Vaishnava community. Everybody appreciates everyone. And Prahlada, Narad Muni says, for Prahlada, material life was useless and is glorious because he is only absorbed in Krishna. And unfortunately, in this world, we get influenced by bad planets. Do you all get influenced by Rahu, Ketu? Have you heard of Shani planet, all this? All astrologers will tell you, bad planet has affected you. So Narad Muni is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj, even Prahlada was affected by a planet. Very interesting verse. Not Rahu, not Shani, not Ketu. Now what are the planet? This is the planet. Please repeat. Nesta Krida Nako Balo Jadavattan Manastaya Krishna Graha Grihitatma Naveda Jagadidrisham Nesta Krida Nako Balo. He was not interested in sports. Means he was not interested in the IPL that's going on in India. He was not interested in mundane sports. Jadavattan Manastaya Krishna, because he was influenced by Krishna Graha, not Rahu Graha, Ketu Graha. The Krishna planet had influenced him. That means he was not interested in anything material because he was Krishnaized. The most dangerous planet is not Rahu, Ketu, Shani. So if you meet a good astrologer, tell him, how can I be influenced by this planet? Krishna planet. And the best quality of Prahlada is that Narad Muni says, you know what is his best quality? 24 hours you would remember Krishna. All the time you would remember Krishna. So we have 9 processes of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Sparanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So we have best examples for each of this process. For Shravan, who is the best example? For Kirtanam, Shukdev Goswami. For Padasevanam, Lakshmi ji. Like that we have, right? Dasyam, Hanuman. For Sakyam, Arjuna. And for Smaranam, for remembering Krishna, Prahlada. And we are practicing sadhana bhakti. And what is the essence of sadhana bhakti? What is the essence of all rules and regulations? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So if you have to ultimately remember Krishna all the time and never forget Krishna, we need to remember Prahlad Maharaj, who is always remembering Krishna. And if we remember Krishna, something special will happen. The first canto says, Yadanudhyasina yukta karma granti nibandhana chindanti kovidam tasya kona kuryat katharatim. See, remembrance of Krishna is something magical. It cuts off attachments. And it also fills our heart with something special, some kind of happiness, a higher taste, that we feel, okay, material world is bad, but it's worth it living in the material world because I have Krishna. So then Narad Muni says, he was such a nice devotee, Prahlada was such a nice devotee, and his father wanted to kill him. And Yudhishthira Maharaj says, no, how can you say this? He's such a nice child. The second time, Narad Muni has said this. So this time, Yudhishthira Maharaj says, how can such a nice child be killed? Or how can he make an attempt to kill? If a child is bad, then maybe we can understand. But Prahlada wants everybody's welfare. And how can a father want to kill his own son? If this sounds shocking, no, this is common nowadays. I have a friend who is a devotee 16 rounder from Iran. He's initiated. And he told me a story how he brought his sister and mother to temple. And they're also chanting 16 rounds. I was like, wow. So all are there in the family. He said, my sister, my mom and my dad. We are 4 of us. So now he is initiated. His sister and mother are also chanting 16 rounds. So I said, what about your dad? He said, oh, no, my dad won't be a devotee. I said, what do you mean? I mean, you 3 are devotees. You can preach to him. He said, no, if my father comes to know we 3 are devotees, he'll kill us. I said, come again, what do you mean? He said, no, he'll kill us. Oh, he doesn't love you? I said, no, he loves us so much. I said, but you said he is going to kill you. He said, yeah, he'll kill us. I just couldn't get it. I said, does he love you? He said, he loves us so much. But he'll kill us. What to do? He's feeling that's his duty. He has to kill us. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the way it is. That is Kali Yuga religion. We have this. We had one movie some years ago called Kashmir Files. Very famous. It became very famous in India. So it shows about some terrorists. They're giving an interview, and it's there on YouTube also. This video, this interviews of this terrorist, and this terrorist is being asked that for your religion, if you come to a situation where you have to kill your mother, will you? Without blinking an eye, he said, yes, I'll kill her. He's willing to kill his mother for his religion. So Hiranyakashipu files. If you make a movie of that, what Hiranyakashipu is nonchalantly doing is like it's normal. It's common nowadays. So this Prabhu from Iran, I asked him, wow, you're saying so casually. He said, yeah, my father loves his religion and he feels it's his duty to kill us. I said, then, but how did you make your mother and sister devotee? Then he explained the whole story. And then he said, now what are you doing about your dad? He said, we are giving him prasad every day. I said, prasad? But how can you, said we offer it, but how can you have deities at home if your father comes to know? He said, then he showed me a photograph of the gate of his house. So when he takes his car inside, there is the gate has Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra painted. Big Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. I said, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra? Even this idol worship, even this idolatry in your country? He says, no, everybody thinks this is some fashion. Nobody knows that this is Lord of the universe. And then he said, my mother cooks and my sister gets it in a bowl. We come to the gate, we offer it to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And then we take it inside and then we feed our father and we take prasad. So it was nice. But I don't know why I went there, but yeah, so Hiranyakashipu wanting to kill his son or a terrorist wanting to kill his mother. So this is how madness can come in. So Yudhishthira Maharaj says to Narad Muni, I have never heard of such a contradiction that a father wants to kill his own son because his sense gratification is getting impeded. And I was hearing one devotee analyze this so beautifully that this is the aspect of material world we should always remember. No one is happy. Hiranyakashipu had every reason to be happy because he got the best son. He got the best son. There is another example in Bhagavatam of Maharaj Anga, who got a demoniac son. You know his son's name? Vena. So Anga wanted a son like Prahlada. How happy he would have been had he got Prahlada. And Hiranyakashipu would be so happy if he got Vena. Right? Isn't it? Vena used to kill his friends. As a child, he used to kill his friends during play. But they can't exchange. That's what destiny is, That's what it is. Hiranyakashipu wanted somebody like Vena, he got Prahlada. Anga wanted somebody like Prahlada and he got Vena. They didn't get what they want. And Chitraketu said, let me have at least one child. He married 1 crore, how much? 1 crore? 10 million wives. He was the crorepati. He was the husband of one. He had 1 crore wives. He had 1 crore wives and no issue, no child. What a tragedy. I mean, you don't get what you want. That's material world. Miseries, you get what you don't want and you don't get what you want. That is the simple definition of misery in this material world. So, Hiranyakashipu's plight continued, was miserable. Now the story begins like this. Prahlada is very attractive. Hiranyakashipu loves his son and he is growing up. And his spiritual master, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, Shukracharya, the guru of the demons, had 2 sons, Shanda and Amarka. And he puts Prahlada in their school and wishes Prahlada to be trained by Shanda and Amarka. And Prahlada goes to the school and he comes back home. Hiranyakashipu asks him, my dear son, what is the best thing you have learnt in school? Now Prahlada could have said, if he was diplomatic, what we have in India, we have started this. We go to all religious conferences, tell everyone good things about everything. What is it called? I forget. Interfaith. It's very nice. So he could have said something nice about everything. But what he tells his father is very interesting. So please repeat this verse after me. Shri Prahlada Vacha Tat Sadhu Manye Suravarya Dehinam Sada Samudvigna Diyama Sadgraha Hitvatma Patam Grahamandakupam Vanam Gatoyat Harimashrayeta. This is what he's telling his father. that, oh, the best of the demons, Asura Varya Dehinam, the best of the demons. Oh, can someone read the translation? It will be nice. You have the microphone. Would you like to read? Yeah.
Translation. Prahlad Maharaj replied, "One, O best of the Asuras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and a temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest, Vana. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead."
This is what he's telling to his father. Imagine saying this to the king of demons. This is fearlessness and compassion at its best. You could have said, my father, the best subject I learned was geography or history. Or if he really wanted his father's favor, he could have said, the best thing I learned was politics. He could have said something like that. And he's saying this is a blind well, give up. And he's revealing to his father he's in anxiety because he's accepted this temporary body as everything. Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't flatter. Bhagavatam cuts. We can't do what Prahlada is doing. We can't go and do this. But we can at least remember Krishna. We can beg for taste in devotional service. We may not be able to speak the truth bluntly in our workplace or to somebody who is very demoniac. This idea is not to imitate Prahlada. The idea is to understand the principle. And what is Prahlada saying in this instruction to his father? That material entanglement is very bad. Asat grahat, it's binding, get attached to Krishna. In Indian marriages, we have the groom and the bride. They, I think they tie the cloth, the shawl and the sari they tie and they go. So that's like janam janam ka saath. They say, birth after birth you will be together, and then you do the parikrama of the holy fire. So when we come to this material world, we are also married to Maya Devi. In the sense, we are bound, and we are told 8.4 million species, janam ka saath, we have to keep going. So we can't get released from this torment. Therefore, Prahlada is saying, go to Vrindavan, take shelter of Krishna. This is the first instruction Prahlada gives to his father after going to school. And how do you think, now I'm asking all of you, how do you think Hiranyakashipu responded to this instruction by Prahlada? Any answer? I wanted others to give answer. I wanted somebody to speculate. He laughs. And what does he say? He says, the intelligence of my child is spoiled. I think some enemies are coming in disguise to your school, O Shanda and Amarka. And Prabhupada immediately writes that in the purport. So devotees should go in disguise and tell others about Krishna. Prabhupada just leaps on the opportunity to preach. He says we should go in disguise, and that's what they do in many places. They go and they preach in the airport, they distribute books. We have our His Holiness Srila Kavichandra Swami Maharaj. He was telling a few of us once his story, that he went to one country where ISKCON is banned. And at the immigration, they suspected he's from ISKCON because he was in trousers, he had a cap, he had goggles, he was looking like a smart Western man. He's from America, he has a passport. So the immigration people said, you are one day in Kenya, and 3 days later you are in Tokyo, and then you are in Australia. Who are you? So they suspected, are you some religious missionary? And Kavichandra Maharaj is such a sadhu, but there what he did, he pulled out a bundle of dollars from his pocket, American dollars from his pocket, and he showed it to the immigration official, both the bundles. He said, see, I'm a rich man's son. I have a lot of money to throw. And he put the money back. and I've come to enjoy. And the immigration official said, wow, good, all the best, enjoy. And he gave him the passport. And then Maharaj came, and then he went on Harinam in that country. He's like, see, so this is how devotees are. They are smart. So Prabhupada is telling us, devotees should become smart. They should go like, Hiranyakashipu is suspecting some enemies have entered. Now when Hiranyakashipu laughs, and then he tells Shanda and Amarka, educate my child properly. Now, how do you think Shanda and Amarka react with Prahlad in the school? This is the second innings of teaching now. Once Prahlad has come back to school, how do you think Shanda and Amarka now deal with Prahlad? Any answer? Compassionately? Anything more specific, Staranand Prabhu? Strict? Angry?
They are bribing him.
They start speaking very sweetly. They say, "Oh Prahlad, we are your friends. Who is telling you about Vishnu? Who is telling you about Vrindavan? Please tell us." But Prahlad, and they say, "Vishnu is our enemy. Somebody is telling you about Vishnu." Now Prahlad starts teaching his own teachers. He says, "Vishnu is an enemy." So Prahlad is beyond duality. See, we live in the world of friend-enemy only when we are in duality. Bhayam dvitiya biniveshatasya ishad apetasya viparyayo smriti. Bhagavatam says, the moment we disconnect from Krishna, we'll immediately start seeing people as friends and enemies. And Prahlad was free from that duality. So he said, why are you saying those who are in Maya, they think Vishnu is enemy. Vishnu is our best friend and we are all servants of God. We must love God. And everyone, so Prabhupada, this is one of the best purports in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada says, everyone should be friendly and appreciate others' service. This is amazing. This is unity in diversity principle. Srila Prabhupada is revealed to us in this purport. He says, everyone should be friendly and we should, this is the exact statement of Prabhupada, everyone should praise another's service to the Lord. This is the way of Vaishnava thinking. This is the way of Vaikuntha thinking. And then Prabhupada says, there may be rivalries, there may be competitions between servants in performing service, but Vaikuntha planets means other service is appreciated, not condemned. And everyone should be able to render service according to his capacity and ability. Beautiful, no? There's very clear instruction. And if we do that, then we will get the intelligence to serve Krishna properly. Tesham tatada yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. Yamuna Mataji, she would tell this story that Trivikram Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Yamuna, she is not coming with us for book distribution. You should tell her. And Prabhupada immediately said, oh, she cooks so nicely for the deities. But yes, Prabhupada, but she is so uncooperative. She is not coming with us. We have been telling her to do this. Prabhupada said, oh yeah, she sings so beautifully, isn't it? So Trivikram Maharaj didn't get what Prabhupada was saying. Again, third time he said, and then Prabhupada said, oh yes, she dresses the deity so beautifully. And then Trivikram Maharaj understood, oh, Srila Prabhupada is making me understand that I should appreciate her service rather than criticize her. So Prahlad Maharaj, this is a very beautiful section where Prahlad Maharaj is telling his teachers that we should not have enmity. And then when Shanda and Amarka ask him, how are you attracted to Vishnu? Who's telling you about Vishnu? And then he says something very beautiful. Yata brahmyati ayo brahman Swayam akarsha sannidho Tata me vidyate chetash Chakrapanir yadrichaya. One of you would like to read the translation? Can you go to the translation? Yes.
O Brahmanas, teachers, as iron attracted by a magnetic stone moves automatically towards the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, is attracted by Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus, I have no independence.
So Prahlada is saying iron filing is attracted to a magnet. I am attracted to Krishna. See, Prabhupada writes in the purport that in this material world, our heart is spontaneously attracted to Maya. But a pure devotee of Krishna is attracted to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also, there's a very famous pastime of Prabhupada and Brahmananda Prabhu. They were in the ocean side and there is a crab. And Brahmananda is big. And he tried to catch the crab, but the crab escaped him and then he fell on the, Brahmananda Prabhu fell in the water. So Prabhupada laughed and Prabhupada said, see, Brahmananda is big, crab is small, but he couldn't catch the crab because crab has taken shelter of the ocean, and that's a natural state for the crab. So Maya is huge, big, but if you take shelter of Krishna's ocean, Kripa Sindhu, Karuna Sindhu. So when Prahlada says this, that my heart is attracted to Lord Vishnu is our friend, what do Shanda and Amarka say? Bring me a stick. This Prahlada is a thorn in the beautiful sandalwood forest. So they are thinking they are all trees, sandalwood trees, and Prahlada is a thorn. And then they realize that Prahlada is very, very bad, he's spoiled. So now the second innings of teachings begin. And then again they bring him in front of Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu, what he does this time? He puts Prahlada on his lap and he rubs his head and he has tears of affection for his son Prahlada. And he says, Prahlada, what is the best thing you learnt in school? And the second time when this happens, what do you think Prahlada answers? We will hear it tomorrow, same time, same place. I've been told it's 7:30 to 9. Hare Krishna. Should we have questions? I don't know what. We have questions? Okay. We'll take one question, one comment. Yes, bro.
Krishna Prabhu said we can continue till 9:30. We'll open the doors from here. And devotees can take questions.
Okay. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, Anant Achyut Prabhu has a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, you're talking about how Prabhupada writes we should go to schools and preach. Sometimes that happens when devotee kids, they are at school, they, even if they try to conceal their practices, somehow it is revealed and they become an object of bully by other non-devotee students. So on a practical level, it becomes tough for them to carry on their practices, and slowly their own faith also goes down because they are being troubled in spite of doing the right thing. So doubts attack them like, why is Krishna not saving me? How is Krishna allowing this to happen? So what should be the right course of action for them?
Don't tell others about Krishna. Don't be foolish.
No, but then Prabhupada writes.
See, Prabhupada has written many instructions in many places. See, I was saying on Sunday, I think, there is something called as a principle and something called as an application of a principle. There is an aspirational reality and there is an applicational reality. So, on the Vyasasana, for example, so one day I was giving a class. I'm talking about the difference between what we're reading in the purport and applying it. So I said, Krishna consciousness is the most beautiful process. 24 hours we should be engaged in service of Krishna. So if you notice what I'm saying now, this is all aspirational reality. And I spoke about, and while speaking, I suddenly gave an example of one couple who come to the temple every morning at 4 a.m. and they complete their 16 rounds before 7, and how the whole day they are distributing books, managing the temple, and they engage in 18 hours of Krishna conscious service, and they are elderly. So I spoke about the whole day's schedule. On the Vyasasana I was giving this class, inspiring. My class was perfectly in alignment with Prabhupada's purports. Great, everybody was happy, they went home, but one family's life was getting destroyed because of that class. So they came to me. The husband came to me saying, Prabhu, we have a big crisis. I said, what is the crisis? So he said, I and my wife and my children, both, see, he's a very CEO of a very big company. His wife is also a senior manager in a multinational bank. He said, every year we go on a holiday to sometimes Australia, sometimes Europe, and we are inspired to do devotional service. We also like our family, we do everything, and then that is the only time we have for each other. But now my wife has started telling me after your inspiring class last Sunday, that this year, those 2 weeks of holiday we'll spend in the temple and do seva. But I am not happy with this. I want my holiday. So what should we do? I said, you call your wife, we'll have another class. So they came. For that time I said, now Mataji, Prabhu, I am going to speak of the Vyasasana. Now this is not Vyasasana class. I said, I told you, why are you doing this? She said, I'm very inspired by that story of that couple you told me. I said, okay, now I'll tell you part 2 of that story, which I won't speak on the Vyasasana, because I don't have the mandate to speak that. Because on the Vyasasana, I'm supposed to appeal to your aspirations. I'm supposed to appeal to your calling of the soul for Krishna. Right? That's what the mandate is. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm authentically representing Bhagavatam. But there is part 2 of this story, which I'll speak to you now. And that part 2 is this couple I told you about. They're doing amazing service. They do it 11 months in a year. And 1 month in a year, every year, they go to Hawaii. And they stay in a hotel. And one devotee gets them prasadam. And rest of the time, they're just with each other. They go on long walks. They connect with each other. They spend time meditating, reflecting, sharing their heart. And I told them, this 1 month schedule, what they do. And then after that, during that conversation, the Mataji looked at the husband and said, we are going for this holiday. So the point I'm saying is this is applicational reality. Aspirational reality and applicational reality. So when you are hearing Bhagavatam, yes, we should go, Prabhupada said, go in disguise and do this. And Prabhupada also says, by hook or crook, one should give Krishna consciousness. So now somebody can use this to cheat. And then there is no end to this. So one has to be careful. In the first canto, Moshitosmi Mahatmabhi, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying great souls cheat. And Prabhupada writes a whole purport of how great souls cheat for a great cause. So you may say, okay, I'll follow the footsteps of a great soul. I will also cheat. But my cause may not be great. But I may imagine that to be great. So we have to be careful of... See, there is aspirational reality and applicational reality. So this is how I would see it. So we can't take Prabhupada's statements out of context or just, we can't just do them blindly. We need to honor, that's called a maryada. We need to know our limitations. We need to know what I need. So this family now, they are doing devotional service very happily. And they also they have an acceptable form of Maya in their life. Because it's a compromise. I remember Kadambakanan Swami Maharaj once answering your question. You said, Maharaj, I saw it on YouTube. Maharaj, Janana Prabhu is asking Kadambakanan Maharaj that, Maharaj, Grihastha life seems to be a compromise. So much we have to compromise. We can't follow the ideal standard which is given in Bhagavatam. And Maharaj's answer was super brilliant. He said, Grihastha life means compromise. And then he clarified. He said, the foundation of Grihastha life is not compromise. The foundation of Grihastha life is dedication and commitment. And this dedication and commitment takes many forms. And one of the forms it takes is compromise. So, that's what it is. So we can't, for this couple, they hear Bhagavatam, so when they hear Bhagavatam, they are like, yes, right. But they also do the needful. Is that okay, Prabhu? Thank you. We'll take the last comment by Sundaranand Prabhu or Mataji. You both decide who will ask. Mataji, okay. It's between you two. Compromise. Compromise. So Prabhuji has compromised.
Thank you. Prabhuji, you said, how can one cross over that duality? You spoke about duality.
Yeah, this is
so how can
we cross over that duality?
No, how can one practically cross that duality for not seeing friends or enemies?
Okay, this is a counter-intuitive answer. It may take me a long time to explain, but I'll just share briefly. Every devotee needs to first accept that you are lovable. You belong to Krishna. Which modern language, they call it self-love and all that. We don't like the modern psychological, all the babble, all that fluffy self-help talks. We call it as all, we give it very bad names. But the principle is, Aham Brahmasmi. We are non-different from Krishna, qualitatively. We generally, our philosophy is what? Achintya Beda Abheda Tattva, which means we are simultaneously same as God and different from God. Now, we focus so much on the difference with God. Tell me honestly, how many times have you ever heard in the class how we are same as God? How many times we hear our similarities with God, and how many times we hear that we are different from God and we are servant of God?
Servant.
We always hear about the difference. We hear about the Bheda, but remember we are also Abheda, which means we are same qualitatively. That means Krishna is Satchidananda, Krishna is blissful, is fully cognizant. So the soul is pure, happy state. We need to identify ourselves as, see, our identity is Aham Brahmasmi. I am that pure spirit soul. That is my identity. My position is Dasosmi, servant. I am a servant of Krishna. I am servant of that absolute truth. Quantitatively, I am a servant. Qualitatively, I am same. So now, because we never focus on the qualitative oneness, we only focus on the quantitative difference. We keep hearing this, then the difference turns into duality. That's what devotees are obsessed with. Always seeing each other as enemies, friends. You'll see devotees are the most insecure. Some of the devotees are very, very insecure. Always seeing in terms of friend, enemy, insecure, defensive. Everything, any criticism we hear, defensive. We immediately categorize, he's a good devotee, he's a bad devotee. So this duality, this is the result of duality, and duality comes from fear. Fear increases the duality because we never see the oneness. Every spiritual path talks about oneness. But they only talk about oneness, and they are deprived of the rasa of being a servant of Krishna. They don't enjoy that sweet, loving service to Krishna. But we, in the name of serving Krishna lovingly, we only speak about the difference from Krishna. So much difference that the focus becomes on the difference, not on loving service to Krishna. And that because of the difference, we create duality. So we need to also meditate, practically speaking, on how we are lovable. We belong to Krishna, and you are Krishna's. The more you feel loved by Krishna, more you will be able to see everyone as belonging to Krishna. Our inability to appreciate other devotees, our inability to practice this most important principle which is needed in ISKCON right now, unity in diversity. The ability to accept and appreciate devotees from different background, different inspirations. We are unable to do that right now because we live in the world of duality. And to overcome this, we need to have oneness. And to develop oneness, we need to feel loved. We need to feel safe. We need to have an abundance mentality. I need to feel loved by Krishna. And that happens when I acknowledge that I don't need to do anything to earn Krishna's love. You don't have to do anything because our whole problem is bhakti for us is all about earning. I have to do something to get Krishna's love. You don't have to do anything to get Krishna's love because you're already loved by Krishna. You'll say, Acha, then why do I don't have to chant then? Yes, you don't have to chant to get love of Krishna. You chant to reciprocate with Krishna's love because Krishna loves you so much that you want to say, okay Krishna, I'll chant for you. That's the mood in which a devotee chants, then you will never have duality. Right now, everything for us is a means to an end. I want to chant Hare Krishna so that I get something which I don't have. What is that I don't have? Love of Krishna. But Prabhupada always taught us, we already have love of Krishna. We already love Krishna. It's dormant. We are not doing anything. Prabhupada so many times he says, Krishna consciousness is not new. It is dormant. It is not foreign. So it has to be awakened. So we are not seeking to earn Krishna's love. We want to recognize Krishna's love. We are not putting effort in our bhakti. We don't want to put effort in chanting. We want to reciprocate with Krishna in chanting. That is the paradigm shift that we need to make. Then we will be able to overcome duality. Otherwise, we'll always feel insecure in our relationship with Krishna. We'll feel insecure of other devotees.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Fear were you speaking about? That we have some fear. What?
Everybody is different. I have a fear that I'll be judged.
Oh.
I have a fear that, I may not get approval. I have a fear that who will take care of me in old age. I have a fear that my services will be taken away. So many devotees have so many kinds of fears. And we grow up in a scarcity mindset. We'll stop here. It's getting intense now.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Radha Gokulananda Bhagavan ki jai. I'm going to escape from the class. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much everybody for coming, attending the class. We'll have the class tomorrow, same time, 7:30. Please come for the Gaurarati, and the class will be from 7:30 to 9 or a bit later as well. There is a Srimad Bhagavatam table outside. This is a very good time. This is appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev coming soon. If you'd like to study Bhagavatam, the story of Nrsimhadev, the table is just outside. You can take advantage of that. Anybody would like to sing? Yeah.
He's always asking today, first time I wanted to ask.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Sadarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desanta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. जय श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की, श्री गौर निताय की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, जय श्री नृसिंहदेव भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. थैंक यू.
आप ही हो चले जाते हो.
भगवान की मर्जी.